The man was sentenced to life in prison, yet he hadn't eaten a single prison meal. Instead, he used homemade tools to cook himself a full meal every day, 3 dishes and a soup. He even got hold of a typewriter and spent his days typing away. No one knew what he was working on until he finished writing over 300 pages of an autobiography. That's when the secret finally came out. One day, he was hanging out at a bar as usual. On his way home, he called for a rideshare. But midway through the trip, he was suddenly stopped by the police. 3 squad cars surrounded him, and Carter had a sinking feeling in his gut. It turned out that just moments earlier, there had been a shooting at another bar. The suspects were reportedly 2 men in a white car, just like his. Carter and his driver were quickly brought before an elderly man who had been seriously wounded. The police gently lifted the man's head and asked him to identify whether these 2 were the shooters. Carter silently prayed the confused, dying man wouldn't make a mistake, because one wrong word could destroy his life. Fortunately, the old man looked at him and slowly shook his head. The motion was faint but unmistakable. However, just then, a man stepped from the shadows. With a cold, sinister tone, he pressured the dying elder to take another look and confirm the shooter's identity. As soon as Carter saw him, his face fell. He knew this man, DePace, ruthless, corrupt, and deeply connected, and he was hell-bent on ruining Carter's life. Carter was then taken to the crime scene for witness identification. But by that point, it was clear it didn't matter what anyone said. During the formal questioning, the 2 witnesses were intimidated by DePace. Under his guidance and veiled threats, they both changed their statements, claiming Carter was the shooter. This wasn't the first time DePace had framed Carter to get him thrown in prison. As an adult, Carter even enlisted in the Army's paratrooper division just to avoid DePace. While serving, he trained hard and gained valuable knowledge. Years later, he returned home a sharp, strong young man. Not long after returning, he went into a bar for a drink, and that's where he met the love of his life. One glance was enough to spark instant chemistry. They danced together into the night, and when he walked her home, neither wanted the evening to end. But that moment was shattered when police suddenly showed up, and leading them, none other than DePace, Carter's lifelong tormentor. DePace sneered, pointing out that Carter had escaped juvenile detention without finishing his sentence. Now he'd have to go back and serve the time he owed. Just like that, Carter was hauled off to prison again, less than a day after returning home. This time, his anger reached a boiling point, but instead of giving up, he trained harder. Every day, he pushed his body to the limit, sharpening his combat skills. Every punch he threw was like that of a wild beast. He devoured books, determined never to be the ignorant pawn he once was. 2 years later, he finally walked free. Breathing in the air of freedom, he swore he'd never go back. But fate had other plans.